Hi guys, this is your weekly horoscope for the last week of February 2019 and the first 3 days of March 2019 with me, Lada, from astrolada.com. And just to remind you that next Saturday we're making a predictive course with Victor. It's going to be around 3 hours, who's going to demonstrate to us ancient astrology methods of predicting the future. And it turns out this is the most correct astrology method I have used so far, and I have found out. So I want to introduce it to you uh, because it's very easy and it eliminates all those, which transit is the most important for me this year. Because you have like probably 10 transits every day, and which one are you going to feel actually? And those of you who are really serious about understanding astrology and transits, it's good for you to take it. So it's called Perfections and Solar Return Charts. So anyway, let's start with the with the week, the last week of February, the last 4 days of February, the first 3 days of March. It's kind of like it's a bit calm down and cool before the storm starts. No, don't worry. I mean, like almost all planets except Jupiter are in female signs, and Venus will go on Friday, Saturday into a male sign. But most of the week, most planets, the Sun and Mars and Saturn and Venus and Mercury, they are mostly in female signs, which means that the energy is gentler. The best way to approach this week is instead of trying to break through walls and trying to, impose your will, to do it subtly. Female energy is clever. Female energy can be a bit manipulative as well because there's a strong Pisces, a strong Taurus, a strong Capricorn energy. So you do it not in your face. The way for you to succeed this week, basically, to do it in a more patient matter. What is the strength of female energy? How does female energy succeed? Well, say you're into a fight and someone approaches you with male energy. They try to punch you, and the female energy just kind of succumbs to it. The female not succumbs, it doesn't allow you to hit it, but the female energy just dances around it and the punch doesn't hit it. So it's kind of flexible, it's gracious, it moves around the problem rather than face on. So I would advise you to just arm yourself with such more feminine cleverness and more feminine, more endurance as well. Feminine energy is patient because we have a lot of planets in Earth as well. It's understanding. It's more patient. It's more practical. It's more soft and gentle. And also, we're going to have Mercury becoming visible towards the end of the week on Sunday. So this week is the last week where it's good for you to do mercurial things. You can initiate new such mercurial things, whether it's marketing campaigns, whether it's launching new products, whether it's kind of completing. And it's good now for you to complete such things because Mercury is disappearing. So it's usually before and when the week of the planet disappearing, it tends to give you the results of the work that you've been doing. So if you've been working on some writing or spoken or written project or some business project or commercial project or some important documents of some sort, or on some administrative or some skills, some administrative tasks or some skills in small group environment, or studying some subject now, or websites, Mercury is any kind of communication, information, business administrative work. Well, this week some important developments and completions can happen, endings of those things. And then Mercury disappears, and it will be harder to initiate such projects. And Mercury disappears till May. So especially Geminis and Virgos, get your things, together this week, move ahead, do stuff. But for everyone, Mercury, when it's visible, it's very good active time for contacts, for communications, for all those things that I said. And then Mercury becomes retrograde, and invisible. So most of March after that, we'll have to fix mistakes, or we have to take a step back and just be more, go back and revise things and fix things that didn't work. So yeah, this is the last week basically. And if you've done a good job, you can have some great results now. When a planet disappears, it rewards the ones that have worked according to its requirements. So if you worked on something mercurial, a lot of mental activity, communication, information, you can get good results. If you haven't done the right job, the Mercury retrograde period will show it to you and you have to fix it and improve it in some way. And let's see, and Venus is moving into Aquarius. We're going to go through all the signs. Actually, in my March monthly videos, I speak about each of the signs, how Venus affects them the whole of March once it moves into Aquarius on Friday, Saturday. The week on Thursday, we have the Sun sextile sextile Mars. This is very good for any kind of initiatives of sorts, because the two masculine planets are well aligned, even though they're in a female signs, and especially Pisces can benefit, Taurus can benefit from the sextile between the Sun and Mercury, but especially if you're having a personal transit to those. And let me show you, if you know how to, if you have an account already in the transit calendar, you see, you can log in from here. This is, you see your transits for a week ahead. And if you happen to see that you have Mercury or Mars transits are in red, that's this coming week. Sun or Mars transits. So the Sun transits are in yellow always, the Mars transits are in red. Here is the legend here. But if you happen to have Sun or Mars transits, and for example, I have opened Kai's, he's going to have a Sun transit next week and a Mars transit. So this Sun sextile Mars affects him in a very positive way, and it's an easy aspect of that. So it will activate him very well. So this is how you can check whenever I speak about specific transit. And then we're going to have Venus square Uranus. So if you happen to have Venus transits that week or Uranus transits, you feel so strongly the Venus square Uranus. So you see, he's going to have a lot of those. Venus, third house, Venus square Uranus himself. It repeats, Venus trine Mars, Venus, or the Uranus transits are in dark blue. He doesn't have such, but he has a lot of Venus ones. So that's how you can use your transit calculator in line with my prediction, but otherwise you can just use it alone. You can just click here and read what this influence is and what does it mean for you, and you can comment below how it affected you. And look, people are commenting, and it's like you can share other people's experiences and see them. So anyway, just a second, let me go back. So we have the Sun sextile on Thursday. It doesn't show because the March ones. Sun sextile Mars, very good. I think especially the water and earth signs will feel very motivated because of it. But for everyone collectively, it gives you more drive. Generally, it gives more you can initiate things, but in a way that is not disruptive to others, that you don't have to impose your will on others. You have a bit more energy. Fantastic day, Wednesday, Thursday, to do some physical activity. Friday as well, to initiate things. And then Friday, we're going to have Venus square Uranus. Let me just come out back to, sorry. Venus square Uranus. Especially Aries, Capricorns, Libras, Cancers can be affected, but not all of them, only the ones that are born in the last degrees, the last 2-3 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra. And if you don't know what degrees it is, again, check your personal transit calendar, which is for free, guys. You know, someone said, oh, stop advertising your stuff. I'm not advertising. This is a free thing. Yes, if you want to unlock for a month ahead, you can. That's paid. It's $6. But otherwise, I'm advertising something that is I've prepared, and I really want you to use it to see a week ahead. I don't want money from you, you know, and I put $20,000 into developing this. And so it's I advertise it with the hope that you benefit through it for free in some way. So yes, this Venus square Uranus will affect some of you. You can check out if you're one of those people by checking your personal transit calendar. But generally, Friday, it's a little bit more unpredictable day. You can feel it also from maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it can be time when some of you break off certain relationships, break off certain attachments, and really somehow change your values about something. You all of a sudden you see something from a different angle, and you break through the attachment with you, and you're like, oh, this thing actually is not as pretty as I thought. Or you look at something, you're like, oh my God, all of a sudden this friend looks so sexy. I can't I don't understand how I didn't see that before. Oh my God, you see something valuable, you consider something valuable, beautiful, something changes in your attitude to its value or its beauty or its worth. It also can make you want to change something about your appearance, but because it's a square aspect, you might be a bit more drastic. But if you really need some drastic change in your appearance, that's gonna push you, into that direction next week. If you want just a gentle change, be careful around Venus Uranus square on Friday, Saturday, because you're prone to go a bit more extreme. With more radical changes with appearance, with beauty. Or you might even decide, like, you go shopping and you buy things that you'd never wear normally, or that you'd never buy normally. You buy much more alternative or funky or different style clothes that you normally used to. That's how it can play out. Also, it can play out just by you, and that's collectively for everyone. Again, only that will disrupt you very strongly, affect you very strongly, as I said, if you have Venus or Uranus transit on your personal transit at the same week next week, as I told you how to check. But otherwise, it can also mean like you're more willing to experiment, to try different restaurant, and yeah, it might be not as good as you expected, or it might be like a bit of a shock to your system that you're changing your usual place of entertainment and enjoyment. But it's time now, Friday, Saturday, to try something different. Also, you can participate in some social event. It's too exciting. You can meet even someone socially, and you can meet someone romantically, because Venus is stimulated, the planet of love. But it might be just something temporary that gives sparks. I remember there was once in the sky Venus square or opposition Uranus, and that day I went out partying, and actually it was triggering personal transits of mine. I think it was triggering the first and the houses, and I went out and I met someone, and all those sparkles went in the air, and we had the most amazing night. We talked till the morning and we danced, and I never saw this person again. So it can be exciting, but it's not necessarily something long lasting. Or you can just meet some interesting, exciting woman. Venus is woman. Or you can have some interesting communication and exciting and even disruptive, If Uranus or Venus are making hard aspects to your planets, it can be something that disrupts your routines and daily activities. And then Venus enters into Aquarius, which means that for the whole month ahead, collectively, it's a very good time for if you're organizing some party, if you're organizing some big event, if you're going to some concert or going out with friends, it usually tends to go much better when Venus is in Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius is also very good for some. So if you can develop collectively humans more love towards knowledge, towards researching higher knowledge of some sort and studies as well. And people become friendlier. People become because Venus is coming out of Capricorn. It was there for a month almost, and it was there with Saturn. So maybe some of our relationships or social life became heavier or kind of blocked or non-existent. I don't know about you, but I barely had fun while Venus was in Capricorn because with Saturn there, it either blocks it or makes socializing for work, or for more serious matters. More duties and responsibility might have overwhelmed our ability to socialize in the past month. But Venus now moves into Aquarius from Friday onwards till the end of March. So socializing becomes much more enjoyable. Venus is not afflicted there. Even for some of us in the last month, maybe we were looking at our partnerships and close relationships, not necessarily personal, not necessarily business, not necessarily marriage, but it might be like friendship, any kind of relationships with business as well. We looked at them maybe a bit too seriously, a bit more judgmentally, because Venus with Saturn made us and required from us that we look in a more practical way, with a more discriminative eye, with a more judgmental eye. Maybe you felt a bit dissatisfied about your relationship, about your love life, about you as a woman. Women felt a little bit definitely more burdened while Venus was in Capricorn. With Saturn, with the South Node, with Pluto, maybe Venus were good relationships might have happened for work. for women, or maybe collectively women maybe felt like the spark was drained out of them a little bit, or maybe it was too much heavy shit going on around emotionally or psychologically on their work, or just too much routine and duty. This is this Saturn Venus influence, and Venus rules all women and how we feel in our beauty. Maybe that was a good time of Venus is in Capricorn to work on some of your insecurity issues as a woman, on some of your worth issues. Personally, I bought like seminars on self-love, on worthiness, on sales, on how to be like how to love myself more, how to be, you know, better woman. But that's Venus Saturn is like work. You have to do some work in regards to those Venusian things, you know, hard work, and you have to reevaluate, and you have to judge, or you have to examine more closely and see where the wrong beliefs are, see where the things that are not helping you, and remove them. So we had to do some of this more difficult internal work. Well, Venus is in Capricorn. Maybe some of us are still doing it. Venus is still there. But when it goes in Aquarius, it's almost like, okay, I can breathe a bit easier now. Us as women collectively, or us relationships collectively become lighter, friendlier, more, you know, more, you can meet more easily people that are like-minded. And it's doesn't necessarily have to be for work only, but things will be easier there. And people still stay very impartial in relationship. They don't get drawn into drama when Venus is in Aquarius so much, you know. Well, Mercury will go retrograde in Pisces, but you know, some things from the past will come back to be discussed. But Venus will, thankfully, through the whole of March, give us this ability to be, after Friday onwards, when it enters Aquarius, to be more objective, to be more detached and not so emotionally reactive. And also, collectively, friends can be more of a support for us, generally for everyone. All right, now let's go and see. So don't forget, Mercury is going retrograde. Wrap up those stuff that you're doing mercurial. Try and do them, you know, but don't rush, because you can make omissions and mistakes that you have to correct during Mercury retrograde after that. All right, so bring out, you know, complete projects, bring them out, and after that, it's not going to be possible, or the results are not going to be as good if you try and bring out to the public mercurial projects, like when Mercury is invisible and retrograde from the week after that. So starting like bringing out to the world new websites or new books or new, unless the topic of the book is very specific that aligns with Mercury, you know, with invisible Mercury, but still any publications, any business projects and stuff like that, or, you know, important communications, if possible, do them till the end of this week. So now let's see sign by sign. Okay, for you Aries, Uranus is in your sign, and it's the last week. I mean, I am Aries. What 7 years, 7.5 years it has been. I mean, definitely roller coasters for us. And finally, Uranus is leaving us. To be honest, I really loved Uranus in Aries. I love new things. As an Aries, it's turned my life upside down. There was absolutely no stability and predictability almost for 7 years, but it was such an exciting journey for me. And because Uranus made a lot of good aspects from Aries for me, but for some of you, you know, maybe it was very rough patch, unpredictable, lack of security. And Uranus is currently the whole week at the 29th degree in Aries. So it's almost like an ending of an era for Aries. It's almost like, you know, when you graduate university or school and you have to say goodbye to people that you were thrown in together for the past 5-7 years that you might have formed. And even if they were not the nicest to you, you formed emotional bond and attachment to them. And now it's just so hard to let go of Uranus. It all those surprises that it brought me, and all those new beginnings, and all those shocks, and all this, the excitability of nothing being like predictable for 7 years in my life. But that's when my astrology business blossomed. Uranus is about astrology, about becoming independent. Many of us Aries where the sun, moon, or ascendant, yes, it was disruptive, but we had so many, we had the opportunity to become to become independent, to generate so many new ideas as well, to generate such a new self-image, to initiate a lot of new things. And it's sorry. And now Uranus is living and being at the 29 degrees, kind of like a critical degree, say, and some kind of the 29 degrees, like a completion, culmination, and ending. So for some of your areas, you might notice that in your life there is some completion and ending of, especially almost like for almost some of you might feel like a 7-8 year period that's wrapping up and ending, and it's going to become so much more calm after that for us areas. Not as exciting, but definitely more stable, definitely more. Yes, Uranus goes into our second house, but it does not direct us effectively like our holy sense. Like the big changes are no longer so possible, but whatever we've changed till now, we're gonna solidify it, and we're gonna the whatever huge changes we did in the last 7 years, over the next 7 years, while Uranus is in the second house, we'll solidify them in some way, you know. But yes, this week can be like a culmination and ending of an era for some of us, saying some goodbyes, but not in a bad way. It might Uranus might go out with a bang, and even some relationships might have to be interrupted for your areas because Uranus is making opposition to Venus that rules our seventh house on Friday. So before it leaves our sign, it kind of gives us a last. A last surprise in regards to business relationships or partnerships or personal relationships, something unexpected to happen there, even to remove someone or something, or someone new to come from our life. But not everyone will be like that, because only areas born in the last degrees, so around the 19th, 20th of April, if you have 28, 29 degrees, or even 27 of Aries, something in Aries, and you don't have to be in Aries. You can check again in the free transit calendar if you're having any Uranus transits. They're in the dark blue color. Then this will affect you, this Uranus leaving Aries. But yes, it's interesting. And our planet is in Taurus. So yes, we're more stable now. We're working towards more practical, productive things. We might spend a bit more though when it's there, but definitely we're focused on manifesting more material security as well, and we go after it. On another level, Venus is still in our 10th house area, still the 10th till Friday. And you still have till Friday the possibility to ask for help from some authorities or institutions. Things will happen easier, whether it's through banks, whether it's through bosses, or whether it's through government institutions. While Venus is in our 10th house, we receive things there more easy. Also, you can contact and get in touch with influential women of some sort that can help you in some way. And fantastically enough, I've gotten in touch with someone who is my I don't know, like my biggest inspiration, one of the best businesswoman, but also psychologist and transformational and occult psychologist for me that I've ever met. So I'm going to introduce her soon. That happened exactly while Venus is in the 10th house. So contact with with auspicious contact with a woman in power of some sort. So you still can do that. And then from Friday, Venus moves into Aquarius. So social life, for the next 1 month, we can have more pleasures in our social life. We can have more ease to attract fans, to attract approval from others. We have more ease in attracting gains as well. From Friday onwards, we're going to have more pleasant times with female friends, or you can even find love areas with friendships or in social environments and stuff like that. But don't forget that the Sun and Mercury continue to be in our 12th house, so you can feel a little bit more drained. Well, the Sun and Mercury in the 12th house, the life giver is in the 12th house. So we can feel a bit more, sleepy. Maybe you need to sleep a bit more, maybe to take a bit more break, maybe to go on a holiday. So it's a good time for that. All right, if you're Taurus, Mars is in your 3rd house. And some of you Tauruses will have Mars transit exactly over their Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. Again, you can check that from the personal transit calendar, what degrees Mars will be at. And if you see a Mars transit happening this will be felt very strongly. But some of you Tauruses are being very strongly energized to take action, to initiate things. And it might be connected somehow with a partner. A partner can push you into that initiatives because Mars rules the seventh house with a personal business partner. But of course, you can feel more irritable with others and with yourself, more impatient as well. So you can burst out, it's more likely. But thankfully, Mars is doing good aspects to the Sun. And as I said, especially around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the Mars is in sextile with the Sun. Some of you Tauruses will feel this very strongly. Again, check if you have either Sun or Mars transit happening in your horoscope, like I showed you. Then this prediction is really happy. You'd really feel the positive influence. So some new initiatives that you start, or some career initiatives that you're working on, really take off, and you can even get the support of influential figures, especially male figures, support from some friends in regards to that. Some new initiative, Mars in the first house, that you take are being supported this week by some male figure or some figure with more influence, or friend by social. And also you can do something very successful in regards to more gains. The 11th house is gains, and your personal initiative bring that. In regards to having more influence in some way, reaching out to people that are important or influential in some way as well. So that's it. And Venus was in your ninth house until Friday, still in. It might be a very good time still for travels, or for to do something in regards to higher education, knowledge, pursuing knowledge. Some of you, I had some Taurus moon lady say and come to me and say, oh, what's happening to me? I'm subscribing to all those learning channels, inspirational channels, and I'm like, Venus is in your ninth house. You're really enjoying that now. Um, and it's still good to arrange some documents for till Friday connected to faraway countries, immigration, import export, or higher education, or qualification, pre-qualification, or something to do with foreign travel, crash courses. And then Venus moves into your 10th house. In my March 2019 videos, I speak about that. But Venus in your 10th house after Friday will really help you with your career, for you to receive the support. And Venus is very important for you because it rules you. So you become very active. Now, Venus from Friday becomes in your 10th house of action. Mars is in your first house, making you very active as well. So I think that from Friday onwards, it's going to be quite a dynamic month for you. And you can receive after that the support of influential women or institutions or people in power. You can have support and with some, you can contact such women in power, for example, or bosses, and get good results when women moves into your 10th house. If your work is connected to Venusian things like art, beauty, females relationships, luxury products of any sort, it can go very well, but you can even receive some support in regards to your work. If you're Gemini, well, Mercury, don't forget Gemini, Mercury is very strong this week because it's changing its heliacal phase. It's going to become invisible, but before it becomes invisible, the week before that, it's just like, it's like 3 times stronger than normal. So you can feel yourself like your mental abilities are strong, even though Mercury is in Pisces, which is a bit of a confusing sign. And already from this week, you'll start noticing, because it's a week before Mercury goes retrograde, that certain things like the winds are starting to change. Some shifts are starting to happen, Gemini, that things are starting to turn in a different direction, and a few more surprises can be happening for you already. Sometimes Mercury is felt a week or 10 days before it's retrograde, that all those things that can happen is like changes, reversals, having to be flexible and have different plans, and to be quite inventive. So it's already going to be happening this week, so you have to be prepared. But you can really manifest before Mercury becomes invisible in regards to your career, because Mercury is in your 10th house. Maybe complete some career project or something like that, have some important communication information regarding job, or from a boss, or from an institution of a sort. So act on it now before Mercury disappears, because after that it might be a bit harder. Also, you can do some career project that is mercurial, whether it's doing some presentation, or whether it's some project, or whether it's some business or commercial activity that Mercury rules, or administrative. it can be very still happening this week, and it can give strong results. And Venus is about to move from your 8th house to your 9th house, still till Friday. You can receive some help with your taxes, with insurances, with inheritances if you ask from it. You can receive even some gift from someone. If you need support or help from someone, ask from it. Venus is still in your 8th house till 5th Friday. You can receive it. And more intimacy as well. And then when Venus moves out of the 5th house, it might become a bit more difficult to achieve that and receive it because Saturn is still there, So all those things can get a bit more complex, so slow down again. But Venus will move into your 9th house from Friday, so till the whole March after that, you can have some support and help if you're trying to arrange documents for foreign travel or residence, if you're trying to get into a good university to take some course. You're going to develop love for knowledge as well. You can develop love for wisdom of any sort, and out of pleasure, subscribe for channels or whatever that bring knowledge and wisdom. You can have good trips abroad when Venus enters your 9th house. You can have ease with selecting a course of study. You can have more luck with love as well, because Venus in the ninth house, when it transits, it makes a person more lucky with Venusian things, with pleasures, with luxuries, with love, with dating, a bit more inspired. And you can receive wisdom in regards to those, your money flow, or wisdom in regards to like higher knowledge or courses or coaching or teaching in regards to money, resources, finances, relationships. All of those, you can see them from a more elevated perspective when Venus enters your 9th house, kind of like see them from a higher perspective. So you no longer approach those things from the same old mentality, but from a higher one. It's like someone, you're allowed a glimpse from a higher perspective, so you can fix some of those issues. More inspiration. Then if you are Cancer, what is happening for you, Cancer? The moon is decreasing that week. So especially for Cancer, it's not the best time to initiate things because the moon is very important for them. But it's good time to detox, to do diets, to let go of, to take foods that detox you, to cleanse, foods that are lighter on you. You can lose weight much easier now, to remove blockages from your life. And on another level, what days can be very good? I have to check the moon for you guys, because wherever the moon goes, this is where you feel great. Let me just a second. I want to see how the moon is moving for you this week. I'm doing the transits a bit different. The weekly is a bit different this time. On a more personal level, and I try to cover as many possibilities and planets as possible. So the moon, how is it moving for you? Because that's the most important one for you. Here it is, the last. So Monday 25th, the moon is in Scorpio, Sagittarius. I think the 26th, 27th, even part of the 28th are very good days. I would say 26th, 27th, the first part of the 28th, the first 7-8 hours, because the moon is going to be with Jupiter, close to the sign of Jupiter. So you'll feel this is very auspicious, especially the 26th. The 27th is very good for you. If you're in the States, maybe to the 28th as well. It's very good, 27, 28, when the moon, you are with Jupiter, guys. It can be very good in regards to work, in regards to some opportunities connected to employees, employers. But generally, Jupiter rules whenever it joins, your moon joins there, you just generally, you're luckier during those days. So whatever you want to do it those days. And then the moon enters Capricorn, where it's going to join Saturn. Not so nice. Then the next day, Thursday, from the midday, from the 28th onwards, and the first and part of the second, basically. So part of 28, the first and the second of March are more intense for you psychologically, emotionally. The moon will pass through Saturn, will pass through Pluto, through the South Node, and Venus as well. No, Venus comes, yeah. Yeah, but it's still kind of, it might be a little bit, your focus will be on your relationships then. Definitely those days, 28 from the middle, 20, first and second, focus. The moon is moving in your seventh house on relationships, but they might be of a little bit more difficult nature, that you have to take some decision and some more emotional pressure and tension that you feel. And you might feel a little bit more like extreme in those moments as well, or judgmental. And then from around the third and fourth, the moon is going to be in your eighth house. The moon is in Aquarius, it's a less emotional sign, but the eighth house, you're very intuitive then. You can receive sudden information about something that's secret, that was hidden. You can tap into it, you can feel other people's emotions. It's hard to bullshit you around then, but you stay more centered as well. But uh, and the moon around that day joins with Venus, so maybe around Friday there can be some interesting positive development there in regards to support or help in some way. But let's look at the other positions as well. Venus is going to move from your seventh house, so till Friday you still have an opportunity somehow uh, to affect some positive changes in your relationships, Cancers, by acting in agreement, by acting understandingly, by being more tolerant. And also you'd meet the same tolerance and agreement and more kindness and understanding from the opposite sex, or from a business partner, or from another person generally. But from Friday, Venus moves into Aquarius, so after that relationship might become a bit more hard again, because only Saturn stays in your seventh house, more demanding, a bit slower going, that require a bit more work. But for the whole month after that, from Friday, Venus will be in your eighth house, which means that you can receive it can be a good time for secret private relationships and liaisons. It can be a good time for finding out some secret, but secret that makes you more bonded and intimate with another person. It will be easier to be sexually orgasmic, because Venus transits the eighth house. The eighth house is the ability to feel intimacy, and to relax enough to receive, to bond, and to make you orgasmic. I know it sounds weird, but eighth house, the house of deep intimacy and bonding. So this can happen, and also receiving support from others. So from Friday onwards to the end of March, you can ask for support of others, whether for presents, whether your husband for a present, or your boyfriend, or a client for some money, or a bank for a loan, or your neighbor for something, to give and help you, material, moral, psychological. All right. Then if you're Leos, what is happening for you, Leo? You're very active in regards to your career. Mars is there in your 10th house. So the whole of March, actually, it happens once every 2 years, 2.5 years, that Mars is in your 10th house. You can move forward to change your social status. You can get a lot more work, for example. You can move and make some progress with some important career project that will require a lot of your energy and focus. But it's a bit stressful. And the bosses might be more angry, or more bossy, or more irritable, and they can affect your authority figures or institutions. But sometimes we need to be pushed a little bit to move. But you can have some because the 10th house is your worldly actions, and so you can take you can start some actions here now and renew somehow your career or your worldly actions through some initiatives that you do that can have influence for almost 2 years ahead. And some of you will be more stressed, those of you that are having Mars transit. So check out the free transit calendar. And if that week you see that you have red transits of Mars happening to you, and if you're Leo, I'll warn you, because very likely Mars is affected, can stress you more. So red transits, if they're happening to your sun, to ascendant or moon, just be careful not to overreact, because the power is in authority figures. And if you're the boss and if you're the authority figure, then then you will be like pushing others in some way, All right. Um, Venus is still in your sixth house, so it's helping you in regards to work till Friday, some help or enjoyment of a work project that can happen, some relief from a trouble or from errands that has come while Venus was in the sixth house. But from Friday, it moves out and enters your seventh house. So it means that the whole of March after that, after Friday, Venus will be transiting the area of relationships for you. So that's a good thing because it can improve your relationship. It can bring more romance and love into your relationship. Your partner can become more affectionate. If you're single, some of you might even have an important date, or you can meet someone that's lovely, that's attractive, or just can receive more compliments from others and have around them people that are more agreeable. And when exactly Venus will influence you, when it's a good time for dates and relationships, or something to do with your partner, when it's a good time to sign a contract? Well, when Venus transits exactly the house cusp or opposite your sun or your moon. Again, you can check that from the birth chart free calendar. uh, but definitely, you're going to seek some support. You can some opportunity for partnership, or just better, more agreeable partner, or just kind of clients currently, more popularity as well. uh, and Mercury, oh, I forgot, anyway. Oh yes, and the sun, most of the week, guys, the sun is your planet. And the sun is with the spiritual star, two spiritual stars. One is Deneb, the other one is Fomalhaut. And they're the two extreme spiritual stars. One is leadership, so you can find yourself feeling more leadership abilities now, but also you can find yourself more spiritually inclined, or more the angelic star is there that the sun is passing to, so you can receive some angelic support even, and in matters regarding eighth house, resources from others, insurance, inheritance, taxes, or you can receive some kind of uh, you can find yourself being more noble this week, because the sun that rules you is passing over this really noble angelic star, and that star is under the influence of Archangel Gabriel. So artistic people, Gabriel rules the artistic people. So you, Leos, can feel this artistic influence, or this very noble influence of this gentle Archangel Gabriel. I think a lot of people depict it as female archangel as well. Anyway, uh, Virgos. Well, for you, Virgos, Mercury is being very strong this week before it disappears. Is the last week it's visible. So try and have these important negotiations or agreements with people, important conversations with the partner before it becomes invisible and goes retrograde. Because after that, it's just going to be much harder, and you're not going to see probably the same good results, and it's going to be much harder to affect those changes or to be so impactful. So if you have some important presentation with others, or if you're doing something together in conjunction with others, whether it's workmates or flatmates, or or if you're doing partnership together, if you work with partnership, or if you're doing something with your husband or boyfriend, girlfriend, try and wrap it up now. Try to have the important details looked at now before Mercury goes retrograde, because after that, all those mistakes will start showing off, and all those miscommunications will start coming to the surface, and they have to be fixed. Yeah. On another level, but still this week, Mercury is very strong. What else is happening? Venus is going to move, guys, from still Friday. It's in your fifth house, so it's good for romance of some sort. If you want to go on a date, it's helping you a bit with your love life, even though your love life has been quite hard for the past year and a half, since Saturn entered your fifth house, and now the South Node is there. So there's a lot of releasing and letting go and detaching from outdated expectations and belief about your love life, about your self-expression, about even from your children, and in regards to what you consider fun and enjoyable. And it might have been a bit drained or difficult, but while Venus might have helped it in the last, month while it was in your fifth house. So still, if you want something connected to relationships, or if some creative project, you still have the dispensation of Venus's ease and help, or with something to do with your children, positive. do it till Friday. After that, Venus enters your sixth house, Virgos. So after Friday, for the whole month of March, you're going to get help with work of some sort, or with some duties, or with errands, some relief there with such beautifully completed work of some way. But there's, ease goes into your duties and work, and you're going to start enjoying health matters a bit more, and enjoying health routines of some sort, or okay. So what else is happening? um, Libras. Libras, for you, of course, the most important thing is where Venus is, because Venus rules you, and next week Venus is moving from your fourth house to the fifth house. So till Friday, you still have the possibility for some support in regards to family, in regards to at home, with matters concerning home, with property, with vehicle. There's Venus is bringing more harmony and ease around your home and place of living, or it's still a good time to buy something beautiful for your home, to decorate something beautiful, to reach out and receive support from family, mother, parents, to make peace with them as well. And then Venus moves out of your fourth house, and you're left alone to work hard in those areas like a donkey, because Saturn is there, and to continue this process for another year of letting go and releasing detachment in regards to place of living, or uh, home and family. But Venus is still there till Friday, and it's making a square to Uranus in your seventh house. So some of you around Thursday, Friday might have some breakdown with personal relationships, so cutting off someone. But only some of you, only those who are having next week Venus transits or Uranus transits. So again, see on the free birth, on the free transit calculator that I put a link for, are you going to have a Venus or Uranus transit next week till the end of next week? If you're going to have this, and the transit is free every 5 to 7 days ahead. It updates every 3 days, so sometimes it just shows 5 days, sometimes 7. But if you see a Venus or Uranus transit, especially square, opposition, or conjunction, be careful on Friday, Libras, because there can be some unexpected surprise with your home and with family, some big shift, some change that is affecting as well your relationship, and it can be something exciting of some sort. But also your emotional state might become more volatile, and that affects your relationships with others, or some surprise comes from a partner, from another person, that affects your home or family life or personal life, Uh, but generally, everyone, because you are Libras and Venus is you. So everyone around Friday will feel a bit more, maybe on Thursday already. Sometimes some people feel it 2-3 days before, others 1 or 2 days after. So towards Friday, Venus, you is squaring Uranus. So there is a possibility that you feel more, you want to break free in some way. You want to, and actually, you might be more reckless and willing to take more risks around that time, and you're willing to go on a more some kind of adventure, or date someone that's unusual, some sort, or willing to experiment or do something unusual with your partner. Or they can be just some surprise. You usually have something planned, but Venus Uranus happens and your plans are disrupted. If you roll with it, it might be a great adventure. If not, you might just feel frustrated, but surprises, unexpected developments, and they're somehow connected to your family, they're somehow connected to your relationships, personal, business, with other people. Uh, but there can be also some, and Uranus is the last week after 7 years in your seventh house, Libras. So there was a lot of unexpected ups and downs in your relationships. It's almost like a close of an era now, the last week where Uranus will affect your relationships so strongly. And not everyone feels it again, unless you have Uranus transit. It's more like gentle vibration that you feel it's dying away, and it's like an era where more stability is starting to come into your relationships. That starts after next week. But you know it might go with a bang and have a big surprise this week. But there was definitely a big surprises, ups and downs. A lot of Libras got married and divorced, or divorced and married again. Broke up a lot of business partnerships, started a lot of new ones because of this Uranus, innovation, new, lack of stability, surprise in the seventh house. And now it's not going to repeat for another 84 years. So you're out of the woods, as they say. It's not going to be as exciting, but you know, Libras are about stable relationships, not about novelty in relationships all the time. That Uranus kind of required you to constantly renew and change in regards to your relationship to keep them going or to keep changing them. But of course, now it's the last week, so bye bye. And Venus is going to move from your fourth house, so it will bring the focus from family and home routines and stuff towards, from Friday onwards, towards the fifth house, guys. So you Libras are going to have a bit more fun after Friday onwards. You're going to have a bit more enjoying moments, like ability maybe to go to cinema, ability to, and I know that for most Libras, there's so many responsibilities at home and with family on a personal level that it's been hard for all those enjoyments to come. But now Venus, when it comes a bit more romance will come. It might be a good time to go on a date. And actually, for Venus, for you Libras, Venus was for the last 1 month in the sign of Capricorn, which is a bit like too serious, responsibility, routines, grinding daily. Plus with Saturn, it's about thinking about heavy things, about responsibility, about duties. So you couldn't probably enjoy as much as you wanted, maybe made you a bit too serious. And now when Venus, you basically enter this fifth house, you're gonna be able to enjoy life more, to feel more inspired, to feel like burden has come out of your shoulder, lighter a bit, and to enjoy yourself more, and even romantically, or children can become easier and a source of more joy as well. All right. And if you're a Scorpio, the most important thing we have to check always is where Mars is moving. And Mars for you is in the seventh house. So this week, Scorpios, it continues that you might feel provoked and challenged by others. Others might be actually quite an exciting influence in your life. They might be, they might be motivating you to do things. They might be getting you excited about certain things. You might be very active doing a project together with another person, or active together in your relationship to do together. And it's very important to channel this energy of Mars in the seventh house into doing something productive with another person. You can get a lot done. You can achieve a lot on a practical level because Mars is in Taurus. But but the thing is that you might also feel challenged by others, because Mars is by no means the sweet planet only. It drives us into action by stressing us, by aggravating us. Someone can press your buttons, call you names, or tell you, oh, this is lame, and pushes you into taking some initiatives. But also because you are Mars, and in the seven, you are deeply involved in relationships this week and continues the whole March. And you might be the one that is upsetting others and pushing buttons and pressing and pressuring others. Come on, let's go, pressuring your partners or close people or clients, So be careful a little bit. And especially if you're sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio, from around 6 degrees till around 13 degrees, you're gonna feel this stress, and you might feel more challenged, so that there's possibility to argue with someone, to fight with someone, but also possibility to get very active with another person. And of course, you can see, if you don't know your degrees of ascendance on the moon, if they're in Scorpio, you can go to the free chart calculator and check if you're having any Mars transit. And you'll see all of this that I'm doing here, this video, it's no point of it, because you can just read your personal transits there, and it's specific for you. It's nothing general as this. Also, Venus till Friday is in your third house. You have a possibility till Friday to receive help and support in regards to anything connected to third house, help and support from siblings, with relatives, to improve relationships with neighbors, with relatives, to socialize with friends. to relieve some burdens connected to communicative or administrative tasks of some sort. And then Venus moves out of there, and you're left again just with Saturn there. So kind of again, you develop more serious state of mind. You not develop. It's been happening for a year, but there are like more demands on you generally when Saturn is in the third house. Demands on you, mental demands, demands on structuring your thought, demands on structuring your working processes, demands on learning stuff or perfecting skills, demands on some kind of social restrictions as well. Maybe you're feeling unheard and having to work on those things. Maybe some problems with siblings, with relatives, with neighbors. And Venus, while it was in your third house, hopefully helped heal some of those things and help you, or maybe a lot of burden from some business, commercial, or work duties, because the third house is very much connected to all administrative work duties, mental work responsibilities. So Venus hopefully help with such a project, or take some relief, or receive support from a small group environment, or yeah. But it moved till Friday, you have the support. It's also good if you want to buy some technology or something like that. You can find ones that you're quite satisfied and find valuable technology, communication, information. And then Venus moves into your fourth house, Scorpio. So that's, you're going to have support through the end of March with family, with home. You can beautify something in your home. You can have ease if you're doing something in your garden, or if you can have pleasure, and it's kind of your family can be more kind and sweet and help you, and you can receive some support there. You can receive a lot of more comfort at home in your environment. Or if you're looking for a new house, you can find one that you find very beautiful. For example, for a new car, you can find such one. And family becomes a more source of joy and pleasure, and things go easy there. If you're Sagittarius, uh, let's see, for you, Venus till Friday is in your fifth house. In your second house. So it's still a good time to buy something valuable, something that you consider pretty. Your ability to assess and to choose the most beautiful things that you consider very worthy, valuable, is strong with you till Friday. So anything to do with, even your financial ability to have financial decisions is quite good till Friday. Maybe not on Friday, because Venus is square Uranus. You can do some impulsive spending on something suddenly. That can be something exciting, though. Might be on a romantic date, or children. Uranus is in your fifth house, so it might be on some creative project, or some hobby, or some pleasure. So there is a chance of spending over a bit too much, but somehow Venus, you know, that's around Friday, Thursday, Friday. And after that, Venus enters into your third house. So for the next, till the end of March, basically, it's going to help you have better communications. It's going to help you have ease to start. For example, third house is commercial and business activities, social media activities of any sort, marketing, advertising. You can receive good kind of support or help, or a smooth influence in regards to that. In small group collaborations, you can be helped if there was some difficulty. Say you're working with a team of people, like a group of 5 people. When Venus enters the third house, the work starts flowing with such people. Also, you can become socially more active as well when Venus, and you enjoy it more. And it's good time for a small trip, for example, if you're Sagittarius. Sagittarius sun, moon, especially Sagittarius rising, but some good contacts can appear, some good conversations with friends, with female friends, some good commercial activities, as I said. So if you want to do something like branding of a commercial product, well, you can create it very beautifully when Venus is in the third house. All right. And Mars is in your sixth house. So you can be very active at work. because the sixth house is work. Mars will be there the whole of March. You can get a lot of things done, and not only at work. Even if you don't work, Mars is sixth house is to put order around you, to clean, to do chores and errands. And Mars is like go go go, so you can get a lot of those done. And Mars is also sixth house is how do you keep your house clean and your environment clean in order, but how do you keep your body and clean and working. So these are your health habits as well. So Mars, they can motivate you to make some changes, to go after those things, to whether it's start a diet or whether it's some workout routine, uh, and also to go and fix a lot of problems at work and stuff like that without being fearful, without postponing any more those things. Uh, all right, so also Mercury is about to go, but we'll speak next week about that. If you're Capricorn, well, Venus till Friday is still in your sign, guys. So you still have the possibility to charm others, to be more charismatic, to do something in regards to your physical appearance and beauty. Just be careful around Friday or Thursday, because Venus is square Uranus, and you can take a bit more extreme approach towards changing something in regards to your appearance, or you can have a surprising outcome. But you can feel much more experimentative and say, okay, I'm gonna cut my hair short and dye it with pink ends or whatever, or I'm gonna wear that cutting edge dress that I've never worn before. It's not my style at all, at this business meeting. But otherwise, because Venus is, and also there can be some kind of a surprise that comes to you from your home or environment. You're in a square Venus, and to know if it's going to affect you and disrupt your plans, your personal plans a lot, just check if you have Venus or Uranus transit in the free transit calendar for the next week. If you have this Venus or Uranus transit, they're in pink or blue transits, then be careful around Friday, because something can happen. Even your family can provoke you, or a very rash emotional decision that you take that creates some sudden change in your relationships, in your directions and goals, some big surprises there. But yes, Venus kind of relieved some of your burden, guys, for the last 1 month, because it was in your sign where you have Saturn and the South Node and Pluto. You're not having it easy, Capricorns. I mean, Capricorns are, you're very tough. You can handle it. But still, Venus gave you hopefully a bit of a rest and a bit of more ease, because Saturn requires everything to be done with so much hard work, and he's been doing it for the last 1 year. And South Node is about sacrifice and let go of something, and Pluto is about totally transform and change something. So it's a lot of serious energies there. And Venus transiting there probably, hopefully, gave you time to pamper yourself a little bit. Maybe go to a massage, maybe go and do something nice for yourself, maybe go and have some good food, or so a bit more ease coming to you in some way. And then Venus moves out after Friday from your first house. And usually by the time Venus moves from one's first house, transiting over the ascendant or Sun and Moon, a person feels more attractive, starts looking more attractive, interestingly enough. But you can still have, through your charisma, through your magnetic approach, attract things. And then when Venus enters into your second house, to the end of March, you're going to notice that you're going to be able to maybe attract a bit more money or resources or pleasures of some sort, like sensual pleasures. But especially you can buy some attractive, something that you consider beautiful, and you're gonna, and it's gonna be enduring as well. You're not just gonna buy something that you're never gonna wear again. It's like you're starting to have, after Friday onwards, more sense of what's truly valuable, and to what's truly worthy. So it's a good time even to make some financial decisions, where to move your money, what account, where to invest your money as well, after Friday onwards to the end of March, because you're going to have this clear-headedness and this very good evaluation in regards to resources and finances, and even attracting some beautiful possessions that you've always wanted, or being able to afford them. And if you're a business owner, usually more money tends to come when Venus transit the second house. And Uranus might affect some of you very strongly. If you're in the last degrees of Capricorn, the last 2-3 degrees might be like some life-changing final changes. But again, check out the personal transit calendar because it's only for a few people. I don't want to talk about everyone here. And Mars is in your 5th house, continues to be supporting you. Mars will especially support those Taurus, those Capricorns that are from 6 till 9-10 degrees. Oh, sorry, from 6 till 12 degrees Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. And in a very positive way, Mars will help you basically to initiate projects, to feel to receive support as well, to be inspired. You might feel very inspired because Mars from the 5th house sends this trine to Capricorn, but only some Capricorns will feel it. Again, as I said, from 6 till 12 degrees if you have Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Capricorn. If you don't know that, check the free transit calendar, guys. And if you see you have Mars transit this week, Mars trine, or Mars trine to Sun, Moon, whatever you have in Capricorn, you'll see what the specific influence will be for you. But definitely some inspiration, some more fun that's possible to come to you. You needed some creative ideas that you can act on. All right, and if you're Aquarius, well, Venus has been in your 12th house for the last month. And if some of you have been suffering with some insomnia or problem or not enough time to sleep, hopefully Venus until Friday helped you have a bit more time to sleep and take a rest, because you're having so many difficult planets in the 12th house. You're completing so many things as well. And Venus transiting the 12th house hopefully made it a bit easier to let go of your attachment to all those things, because Venus eases wherever it goes. And not to idealize the past so much and romanticize it, but to more easily release it. Maybe some of you had some secret. And when Venus is in the 12th house, sometimes it's also, I managed to catch up on my sleep. That's fantastic. Until Friday, we still can do that. And then Venus is gonna transit, it's gonna enter our sign, Aquarius. Yay! From Friday onwards. And especially those Aquarians that in the first 2-3 degrees, they're gonna feel it by the end of the week, that they start to feel more attractive, that things become easier for them, that they feel just gentler and kinder, that more pleasant things comes into their life, more romance as well. That opportunities for travel, Venus rules our 9th house. When it enters the first, opportunities for higher education, for enjoyments through knowledge, through educational courses. Some wisdom comes to you as well and inspires you, or an advice or wisdom. If you're preparing something to teach or to travel, things can start happening easier as well. And some help and support from family, because Venus rules the 4th house, enters our sign, so it brings good things and ease and support and positive developments in regards to relocation, planning something with family, even planning family holidays that can start happening now. 9th house is to travel, 4th house is property or family, or even to do something nice with your family as well. But generally, Venus transiting our 1st house after Friday, we're going to start feeling more attractive. We're going to start feeling more agreeable. We're going to, by the end of March, we'll definitely look better. And there can be more female energy around us. It can be good to get in touch with our feminine power as well, to generate sensual, sexual energy. Even love and romance can come to us. So we'll need, it's a good thing, Aquarius. I love it when Venus transits my sign, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. If you're doing some financial changes and transactions, Mercury, before it goes retrograde, do it this week. Like whether you're opening bank accounts, whether you're moving money from here and there, do it before that, because after that there might be some complications. Starting from the week after that, complete some things now, wrap some things up. If you're closing bank accounts, if you're throwing out some clothes, start doing it now. 2nd house is possessions, assets. Try to organize those and put them in place before Mercury goes retrograde. And invisible as well, because sometimes it can bring some losses of resources when Mercury becomes invisible in the 2nd. All right. And on another thing, Aquarius Uranus, our second ruler, is in the last degree of Aries. What does it mean? That a lot of us Aquarius might feel like it's the ending of some era, that our planet has been for the last 6 years, excepting a few months when it went into Taurus, into Aries. So it's as if we're gonna enter with Uranus, we're gonna enter into a very different um, uh, atmosphere. It's like we're gonna go and live on a different planet, the planet of Taurus, like, in a different environment, from one aquarium to another, from one room to another. And this is the last week for the next 84 years that Uranus will be in Aries. And Aries is very initiative sign, very excitable sign, very get up and go. So hopefully a lot of you Aquarians took those initiatives, those changes, started new beginnings. And it might feel like that's the end of it now. It's culminating, and after that, Uranus, we are going to move into Taurus. So things will become much more uh, when Uranus moves into Taurus collectively for 8 years, our focus will be much more about consolidating the new beginnings that we started by our planet being in Aries. Uh, and it might feel like when our planet is at critical degree, for some of you Aquarius, for some of us, we might feel like completion, ending something, fulfilling some mission, closure of some sort that is coming, or seeing the results of something. Uh, and there might be a sense of, some of you, excitement that something new is coming. Others might be a feeling of dread of the new that's coming, but it's gonna come. Uranus will enter into Taurus and will start absorbing those Taurian qualities more into us, those Taurian qualities of more stability and material groundedness. But we'll start making big changes in our home and place of living once Uranus enters our fourth house. We might change places of living a lot, or be liberated in regards to being tied to places, but that's another topic. And Mars is in your fourth house, in our fourth house. Aquarius continues to be, some of you might be quite irritated by home or family because Mars is there, might be fighting more, or might be much more active. You might have to do a lot of physical work at home, and it continues to the end of March, like moving things, wrapping things, throwing things, working in the garden. That's the best way Mars in the fourth house can manifest. The worst way is starting to fight left and right with relatives, and family members, and having some accidents at home. But otherwise, you can be just very active with your family. And those of you who have Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Rising from 6 till 12 degrees next week, be more careful because Mars is squaring your Sun, Moon, or Rising. Of course, if you do not know your degrees of Sun, Moon, or Rising, just go to the free chart, to the free transit calendar. I'm putting a link below. Register and see all your transits for next week that no one else in the world will have, guys. And see, are you having Mars transit? Are you going to be fighting? Or are you having Jupiter or whatever? All right, and Pisces. There we go. Pisces, for you, the most important thing, let's see, is that, of course, Mercury is about to become invisible in your sign. So specifically for Pisces, it's important to, if you can, to wrap up some mercurial project, writing, speaking, talking, communication, business administration, anything to do with using the logical part of the brain or the rational part, the memory, the facts, anything to do, any project that's using your intelligence of some sort, or your mental skills, wrap it up, because your planet Mercury is going to disappear in your sign. So after that, those things will be a bit harder to change. And if possible, now you still have one more week of where you have a bit more free will to take actions, because it's in your first house that you can influence. After the end of this week, things will start happening by inertia. What does it mean? Because Mercury will become retrograde, not by inertia, but it's almost like a lot of the things and developments after this week will be because of some previous actions. And this week you still have quite a bit of a possibility to influence events into the direction that you want. And then you might have to change certain things. you know. So let's see what else is happening for you, Pisces. Uh, because Mercury rules your seventh house, it might be like the before it disappears. Now it might be the completion of something connected to a partner, some endings, not necessarily big things. Mercury disappears 2 3 times a year, but specifically now it affects you very personally because it's disappearing in your sign, and Mercury rules your partnerships. So something in regards to your partnership might be ending or completing, or your partner might be completing some project, and it's good to, and you might have to help or something, and it affects you. Maybe a contract can run out, or agreement, or you can see the results of some business collaboration that you've done. You can see the outcome of such things, and if you've done it well, it can be a good payoff as well. Completion, it's good time still this week to put it out to the public if you've been working on some mercurial project, writing, speaking, business administration. Then on another level, Venus, it's going to move from Friday from your 11th house till the 12th. So it means that in the last month until Friday, still you have opportunities to connect with friends, to have good times with friends, emotionally bonding, to create some contacts that can be beneficial for you, that can be useful, to connect with influential women or people of some sort. And after that, and even to work on something that is gainful, and you will receive ease and support in regards to that. And from Friday onwards, Venus moves into your 12th house. So till the end of March, this means that your sense of pleasure will derive from more private activities, from more quiet activities. It might be a good time to travel. If you're Pisces, when Venus moves into the 12th house, you can have romantic or pleasant or enjoyable experiences in the world of imagination. So with a book, or with escaping into movies, or into foreign countries basically as well. Or if you're working on some, you can have support and help if you're working on some imaginative project, or something where you use a lot of your where you have to be alone and use the imagination, whether it's you're writing poetry or writing music, or just listening to those things. Venus, when it goes into the 12th house, it helps with all those things, and you can receive like pleasure and a feeling of satisfaction from being more private, basically spending more time in your sleeping better in your bedroom. Some private liaison is also possible, because Venus in the 12th house about secrets and something secretive. Uh, and also sometimes it's about escaping reality with indulging or overindulging that you can feel like. But don't forget that the sun continues to be in your sign, so you're energized. Uh, and yes, so even though some of relationships, Mercury might become invisible, they might go to the background, or they might kind of after the end of this week, but this week they can still manifest or complete. You're personally having a lot of energy. The sun is energizing you this week. It's the month of your birthday if you're sun in Pisces, or if it's your ascendant or moon, again, the sun will vitalize you, help you with certain new beginnings. So yeah, so thank you very much. And don't forget, Jupiter is in your 10th house, is moving direct. Go ahead and keep reaching for the stars in your career. Have big plans, dream big plans, and go ahead for those. They should happen. If you want to work in a better place, go for it. Jupiter is direct, your planet. If you want to get a better position, if you want to get promotion, go and speak. If you want some favor from institution, you can receive it now. From authority figures, can look more favorably on you and help you. So anyway, that's my horoscope for you guys. And thank you so much. Hope that was exhaustive enough. And yes, don't forget that me and Victor have this seminar on the 3rd of March. I'm very excited about that. We're going to learn some ancient predictive techniques, the ones that were used by the royal astrologers of the king, that are very easy as well. You can do it by, without complicated calculations. So, yay. And yeah, check check out some discounts that we're still doing: 30% on the calendar 2019, 30% on all the courses of Nicola Stojanovic are still out on 30%. And yeah, thank you. Oh, yes, and don't forget the written horoscopes from March 2019. 250 pages of those. It's $7. You can see day by day how March is affecting each of the 12 houses. So thank you so much.